Hey kids. Well, I am getting ready for another adventure, and while I'm doing that, I figured I would take some time and answer some questions. So this guy asked the other day if I was just always able to do this. Like, I assume he means just like hike big days. No, absolutely not. Man, when I first started hiking the Appalachian Trail, it took me a full 6 months to hike that trail, 2,100 miles. It was awesome. I stopped a lot. I did a lot of zeros. I went into all the towns. Oh my gosh. In fact, my legs were so swollen by the time I got to Rattle River in New Hampshire. Is that New Hampshire? Yeah, it is. It's right there at the border because I paddled back into Maine during the 2 weeks that I lived at Rattle River because my legs were so swollen. Now, I have Osgood slaughter. You just can't really see it that way. Kind of this way, right? So it's like this big calcium deposit on my knee. It's like a protrusion on both of them, right? And so there are like bone fragments that float around in there, and then it irritates the soft tissue. So like my knees are always swollen because I am an active person. But the swelling of my legs at this point in time on my very first hike, the Appalachian Trail, was crazy. Both my legs were massive. So I stayed there. I called my doctor. I stopped taking ibuprofen because if you take ibuprofen for a prolonged period of time, it can actually increase swelling. So that's just a note to you in case something like this happens. Yeah, so whatever. Absolutely not. I had no idea that I was capable of hiking like big miles, nor big miles consistently, or doing without taking zeros like I learned I could do recently. It's just been a process of pushing my boundaries and figuring out what I'm capable of doing and what I'm capable of doing without, and what can I handle? There's a lot of discomfort. I was doing 8, 10, 15, like 10-mile days going through the 100-mile wilderness or something like that, and then slowly picked up to 15, 18, like 20s, but still taking lots of zeros, lots of field trips off to go see all kinds of stuff here and there and visit people along the way. So my body got a lot of rest in between. Yeah, Anubis and I in the Shenandoahs, we did a 30-mile day going through there. It was raining and cold and miserable. It's a good motivator. We were trying to get to a hotel. Got it, baby. Hot shower. And he got to see his dog. And then later on the trail, I started like pushing like 28 and I think closer to 30 like now and then. More so with Kid as I got to the very end of the trail. So at that point I had like this little like, I just wondered. I was like, oh, well, if I could do those miles and like I didn't really feel terrible like the next day, that's when I kind of started getting more curious about my capability. So when I started the PCT in 2020, I really wanted to do 30s. I heard that doing 30s on the PCT was like doing 20s on the AT from my buddy Cook from my first family, because he was an expert. He had already hiked the PCT. He had just finished his Triple Crown. Congratulations, buddy. Anyway, yeah, congratulations. And so yeah, when I got to the PCT, I was already doing 30s. I met Pun. He was also doing 30s. So then we were able to join forces, and together we were a super good hiking team. It was cool to be able to push limits with a strong partner and just like keep leveling up. It was awesome. We were a good team. We ended up couldn't finish the PCT that year, went to the AZT, did half of that, way too hot, way too hot. It was early September, too early. And then the ECT going northbound, and on that one it was just like pushing it the entire time. So that one like really expanded. I mean, we both did our first 55-mile day there, which was awesome. Yeah, that was rad. And then I did like a 45 later on. I mean, still kept to those like high miles, so that it was just conditioning over time, like slowly, well, sort of slowly to start with, and then just like more rapid pace. Yeah, so that's how I've gotten here. I don't know. I don't know if other people get out there and are just like, oh, I can just do a 30-mile day, like right off the bat. Probably. Yeah, so I think it's just like conditioning your body, building up to it, pushing your limits, like not breaking, but like, you know, just like pushing, expanding, building upon like a, you know, your the strengths that you're finding in yourself, but like not going too far, which is really a cool thing to do, I think. Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the other scenarios. Oh, this guy did ask me one time if the Osgood Slaughter, if I thought that it gave me an advantage over other hikers. And I was thinking about this. So physically, no, absolutely not. I don't think it gives me an advantage. Like, my knees hurt, they're swollen, it's painful. You know, I think that maybe I have more pain than some other people experience, but I think it gives me a mental edge because I'm already accustomed to being in discomfort every day. So like when I'm on trail and my body starts hurting, like, yeah, it still hurts, but I don't know that maybe it doesn't register with me in the same way because I have a different pain threshold, especially associated with the legs. Yeah, I think those kids I met on trail on the PCT, yard sale and cruiser, those dudes were doing big days. Like, I'm pretty sure that was their first trail. So yeah, maybe some people are born with it and some people got to work for it. That's my long answer to a short question.